Hey, what's today's daily sprint? We're talking about increasing our purpose, passion, and meaning. And today I'm going to share an experience with you of how I let fear literally ruin my life and guide my life for a period of time so that you can maybe learn from this experience and not allow it to happen to you. So I remember it was the first time that I went skydiving. It was 7 or 8 years ago. And we had this great idea. We're gonna go skydiving. We're gonna jump out of a plane at 17,000 feet, and I'm gonna have this guy strapped to me because we're gonna go tandem, and that's how it's gonna be, and it's gonna be so fun. Jump out of a plane. And I remember the next morning I woke up with this pit of fear in my stomach, and I'm like, oh, what did I commit to? And I'm like Googling, I'm looking for all this evidence of like people that whose plane or parachutes didn't open and travesties happened. And I'm like, oh my gosh, and I made that emotional decision, that emotional commitment, and I immediately wanted to take it back. I was like, what am I thinking? So we're traveling down to the skydiving place. We're up in there. We're at like 16,000 feet, and I'm just scared. No joy. Like probably the whole ordeal was probably like 4 or 5 hours leading up to jumping out of the plane, and I am just in complete misery. Finally, I'm strapped to this dude. He's like, you ready? I'm like, and then he just pushes me out of the plane. And for just like 5 seconds, it was just bliss, man. Like just bliss. It was unbelievable. I was like a bird. And then he let the parachute open and we landed, and it was probably one of the most amazing moments of my entire life. I actually did it again the next year. 2 times is good enough. That's enough bliss for me though. But the point being is leading up to it, so much joy was stolen. I wasn't even near a plane, and I'm afraid of getting killed jumping out of a plane. The joy of the breakfast that morning, completely stolen. I wasn't even, again, near the plane. The joy of the plane ride up and just kind of seeing the world from afar, all stolen from something that hadn't even happened yet. And then when it did happen, it was one of the most joyous times of my entire life. So your joy, your greatness falls right on that other side of fear and conquering that and jumping out of that plane. But we can't let things that haven't even happened. Oh man, I gotta have this conversation with an employee. I should start this business. I really want to confront my husband or wife on this subject. We have anxiety and fear and anxiety leading up to it. Then we finally have the conversation, and it goes great. But we let it steal so much joy leading up. Don't do that. Don't make that mistake by letting something that actually led to greatness, one of the best experiences of my life, all the fear leading up. Make the decision, make the commitment, and then the joy is in the process. And yes, there will be that time where you got to jump out of that plane, but where are you going to end up after you've confronted that fear? You're going to end up, wow, that was amazing, or wow, that was near as bad as I gave it credit for. So stop giving your fears so much control and credit. At the end of the day, those fears are stepping stones for us to get into greatness. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you at the next Daily Sprint.